Good evening and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. President Muhammadu Buhari felicitates with the Muslim Ummah Nigerians of all faiths and followers of Islam all over the world on the occasion of the Maulud-un-Nabir, the birthday of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. In a message to mark the occasion, President Buhari says, and I quote, "I'm delighted to send greetings of peace, unity and goodwill to the Muslim Ummah, fellow citizens and Muslims all over the world as they observe and celebrate Eid al-Maulud." The president urges Muslims to strive for forgiveness and closeness to the noble life and teachings of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, whose birthday is being marked on this blessed day. On this auspicious occasion, I wish you all the blessings of today, says the president. He used the occasion to give a snapshot of the increased activities of the armed forces, police force and intelligence agencies have embarked upon to effectively respond to the security challenges in the nation. The president adds that increased cooperation and collaboration from the citizenry, coupled with reinvigorated, dynamic and energized police, security and military leadership, is helping the administration score more victories against terror, criminality and economic sabotage. President Buhari appeals to road users to drive with care and avoid needless accidents. Meanwhile, today is Eid al-Maulud, as some Nigerians celebrate the occasion. Some prominent citizens have extended their wishes to citizens and residents in the country. Salwa Khalil will bring us that report in our subsequent bulletins. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says Nigeria is glad that the Biden administration is fully back on board with climate change global agenda in a commendable restoration of the United States government's support for the Paris Agreement. The vice president stated this when he received a U.S. government delegation led by White House Deputy National Security Advisor Jonathan Finer, who is currently visiting Nigeria. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Reiterating Nigeria's position regarding a just transition from fossil fuels to clean energy ahead of the net zero emissions 2050 target, the vice president said government is concerned about some of what has been going on, especially around gas as an effective transition fuel, and how many of the development finance institutions and some countries are insisting that gas projects should be defunded. Regarding the Democracy Summit President Joe Biden would be hosting later in the year, the vice president stated that Nigeria looked forward to participating at the summit. The vice president also spoke about how to ensure that illicit financial flows are discouraged, while adding that the international monetary and financial systems have a role in stopping it. On security concerns in relation to the activities of ISWAP and ISIS, the vice president recognized the role of the global coalition to defeat ISIS as a very important initiative. Also, the vice president expressed the gratitude of the federal government to the United States government for donating over 3.5 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines to Nigeria. Head of the delegation, Fina, had earlier informed the vice president of a potential partnership with Nigeria on a G7 infrastructure program, Build Back Better World, which the United States president has made a priority. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The Petroleum Industry Act, PIA, will end the era of uncertainty in the oil and gas sector. Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Timiprie Silva, said as the two regulatory agencies birthed by the PIA take effect, investors sitting on the fence are expected to take decisive decisions according to the clarity it provides. Lydia Sampson reports.
Petroleum Resources, the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency, and the Petroleum Equalization Fund are all officially scrapped. This development is in line with the provisions of the Petroleum Industry Act. Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Timothy Silva, reiterates that the act, which makes it clear that workers of the three agencies will be protected, said their chief executives had been relieved of their various appointments.
The successor agencies are already in place. The president, in his wisdom, has appointed the chief executives and the chairman of the boards, and on Friday, their letters of appointment have been issued. It is my place to ensure that they start work immediately. There should be no vacuum at all.
The Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Timothy Silva, stated this while inaugurating the boards of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority and the Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission in Abuja. He explained that with the passage of the Petroleum Industry Act, the NPRA and the NURC have taken over the functions of the DPR, PPPRA, and PEF. The law states that all the assets and staff of the DPR are to be invested on the Commission and also in the authority. The law also repeals the DPR Act, the Petroleum Inspectorate Act, the Petroleum Equalization Fund Act, and the PPPRA Act. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Perhaps one of the most cheering news of the time is Nigeria's show of capacity to produce electric and gas-powered vehicles in line with the nation's national determined contribution to the Paris Agreement on reducing carbon emissions. Here is Onengiye Fineface with details of a made-in-Nigeria electric car in motion.
Sharon Ikazo is Nigeria's Minister of State Environment. Mrs. Ikazo is taking this brand new car for a drive. Well, that is not uncommon and certainly not the news. The news, however, is that this car is made in Nigeria. More so, it is an electric car, one of several innovations by the National Automotive Design Development Council.
And what's really exciting is that this vehicle is assembled in Nigeria in the old Volkswagen of Nigeria assembly plant. So this is a vehicle that would allow the nation to more easily meet the targets of the Paris Accord.
It is designed to make transportation in Nigeria clean, green, and noiseless.
The engine, no sound, no heat. You saw us open the bonnet. You couldn't touch the bonnet or the engine of a petrol-fueled car. But this one you could, yeah, and no smoke as well, no emissions. That's the key thing. With time, it becomes affordable for ordinary Nigerians.
Demonstration done. Time now to get to work, to scale the production of more eco-friendly vehicles and, most important, make them available and affordable for all Nigerians. Onengiye Fineface, NTA News.
Moving on now, with high increase of passengers, the Abuja-Kaduna train service has commenced comprehensive maintenance, having covered more than 20,000 kilometers in the last 6 months. The Nigerian Railway Corporation (NRC) says this is to prevent further breakdown of the train. Onyinaya Kaluoka reports.
Hall is where the comprehensive maintenance takes place. Every part in the diesel multiple units is being dismantled, checked and cross-checked. It is a tedious job that requires rapt attention to details.
The minor repair normally happens from 20,000 kilometers and above. If you don't check these things, maybe there are parts in the system that have failed.
If you do all this periodic maintenance promptly, the tendency of breaking down will be low.
Alongside the Chinese engineers and Nigerians who have mastered the act.
The DMU is still under warranty.
Okay.
And that is why you are seeing the Chinese touching it. The conventional locomotives, if you go into the workshop, you see only Nigerians are working there.
In the last 3 months, from July to September, there have been an increase of about 50% in the number of passengers. The Abuja-Kaduna train will resume normal movement of passengers on the 22nd of October with 10 trips. Oyinaya Kaluoka, NTA News.
Lagos is our first stop on Nationwide today, and Kehinde is standing by. Good evening, Kehinde. It's over to you.
Hello, Ayodeji. Glad to have you join us in Lagos. The Nigerian Immigration Service will in the next few weeks launch a platform for international passport applicants to strengthen the issuance process, curb sharp practices, and restore the document's integrity. Acting Controller General of Immigration, Issa Jara Idris disclosed this during an unscheduled visit to the Lagos State Command Ikoyi, and Oluwapo Oluwatoki has details.
The unannounced visit was to investigate and verify allegations of sharp practices against immigration officers in the Lagos passport offices. To achieve this, the Acting Comptroller General Immigration says it disguised as a passport applicant and caught some officers in the act.
I visited Alausa and Ikoyi. In the two passport offices, I was presented with a menu of passport prices, 32 pages, 64 pages, 5 years and 10 years accordingly. 32 pages goes for 45,000 naira instead of 27. And for the breeder documents, I said I don't have. So I was charged 3,500 for the breeder documents. So put together, I was asked to pay 98,500 without any document. So you could see the challenge.
Assuring that the guilty officers will be punished accordingly, the immigration boss expressed determination to sanitize the service and end unnecessary difficulties in the process and issuance of international passports.
I want to assure that in the next 2 weeks, the minister will be launching an appointment platform whereby you key in, book your appointment, come and snap and go without doubt. The members of the public must know that you can pay online without necessarily having to come to the office. But mostly you see cash going around, exchanging hands. That should not be.
The Acting Comptroller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service was recently appointed to replace Muhammad Bambadede, who retired last month. In Lagos, Oluwapo Oluwatoki, NTA News.
A vessel placed under the radar of Interpol that sailed from Brazil through Benin Republic to the Nigerian waters has been intercepted by security operatives at the Apapa port for trafficking hard substances. Customs Area Controller Apapa Command Malanta Yusuf revealed that a total of 32.9 kilograms of cocaine was found on board the vessel. Abolade Salami reports.
After days of sailing on the Atlantic Sea en route to the Gulf of Guinea, with the plans to berth on Nigerian shores, crew members on board MV Shinari, without having a clue of what awaits them, were suddenly rounded up by security operatives on Nigerian waters. Prompted by intelligence report from Interpol on the vessel, the Nigerian Customs Service, Navy and the NDLEA mounted eagle eyes on the ship to track our movements and carefully inspect consignments on board. The combined search by the security operatives thereafter resulted in the discovery of cocaine concealed in one of its 5 large compartments.
And the synergy that has come in, which everybody participates professionally on the field of his profession, and this kind of procedure was discovered.
The resolve to make Nigeria unsafe for any criminal act will be fully enforced at every point.
AIG, Interpol, Nigeria Police commend the synergy that has led to this success.
Suspected vessel was thoroughly searched by the combined team of Nigerian Navy, the Interpol, the Nigerian Customs Service, and the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency.
Security operatives submitted that to further outsmart criminals and their tactics, more room for intelligence gathering and synergy will be leveraged upon. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We'll take a short break now. The news continues shortly with Mohammed in Maiduguri.
Government, through NPHCDA, commenced Phase 2 vaccination of all persons 18 years and above with safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines approved by WHO and certified by NAFDAC. special arrangement has been made for staff, their dependents and retirees of ministries, departments and agencies of government, private corporate organizations and non-governmental organizations. To benefit from this special arrangement, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng/corporate vaccination/ to obtain, fill and submit the Google form. NPHCDA will contact you within 48 hours. Protect yourself, your family and your workplace against COVID-19. COVID-19 vaccines are free, safe and effective. For further inquiries, call 0700-220-1122 or send a mail to covid19.vaccination@nphcda.gov.ng. This message is from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
2021 World Food Day and Nigeria's food value chain in perspective on NTA Tuesday Live this week. Leaders and stakeholders on hand to brainstorm on issues of food security, agricultural development, potentials and matters arising. NTA Tuesday Live, incisive and educative. Join us.
The broadcast media ecosystem is dynamic and requires continuous training for practitioners to perform optimally. NTA TV College JOS invites relevant officers to the following specially packaged training programs. Archival Management System in the Broadcast Media, date 11th October to 29th October 2021, 3 weeks. Intermediate Presentation Techniques, date 11th October to 22nd October 2021, 2 weeks. Digital Satellite, Microwave and RF Technologies, date 11th October to 15th October 2021, 1 week. Advanced Broadcast Accounting and Auditing, date 25th October to 5th November 2021, 2 weeks. Photojournalism and Photography, date 8th November to 26th November 2021, 3 weeks. Transmitter Operation and Maintenance, date 1st November to 5th November 2021, 1 week. The course fee for the 3-week course is 130,000 naira per participant, while the fee for the 2-week course and the 1-week engineering courses is 100,000 naira only per participant, accommodation inclusive. The venue for all courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more information, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos. Training you to be the best you want to be.
Two entertaining sides will be looking to get the results when they meet at Ellen Road. Who will come out on top? This Saturday, it's Leeds United versus Wolverhampton Wanderers on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA, Silverbird Television and Sporty.com from 2:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral.
We're glad to have you back on Nationwide, and this is NTA Maiduguri Zonal Network Center. Borno State Governor Babagana Umar Azulum has directed for synergy among agencies supervising operations of public schools to raise the standard of education in the state. The governor was speaking while declaring open a 3-day conference for public schools principals in the state, convened by the Ministry of Education to reposition the education sector. Mohammed Goni completes the story.
The 3-day conference with the theme Revamping Public Secondary School by Addressing Emerging Challenges was convened to address issues and challenges brought about by the emergency situation now that the state is reaching a stabilization phase. Governor Babagana Umara, while enumerating the measures to address the challenges in the education sector, also issued a number of directives as additional measures to change the narrative in the public schools, which include reintroduction of demotion to instill discipline, enforcement of monitoring and evaluation units in the MDAs as well as in the 3 senatorial zones. Others include review of SUBEB laws to allow Ministry of Education participate in the activities of primary education sector, among others, stressing further that the state government will not relent until Borno gets its rightful place in the education sector.
The transition from continuous secondary school to secondary school is very important. Where there is no synergy between the primary school, the secondary school, and Ministry of Education development will be impeded.
Commissioner for Education Lawan Abawo Kilbe, who highlighted the rationale behind the conference, noted some of the emerging issues and challenges the conference seeks to address that include learning centers, examination malpractice, nonchalant attitude towards work, feeding and infrastructural deficit, among others. Chairman Teaching Service Board Professor Suleiman Bello said the conference was designed for the school principals because not only are they the school administrators, but they are the implementers of government policies and programs at the secondary school level, warning that their abilities to effectively implement them will be subjected to scrutiny, while failure will be treated according to law. State ANCOM's chairman, Kaka Issa, noted efforts made by government towards revamping the education sector and appealed to the state government to redeem pledge of a utility vehicle made to ANCOPS. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
Borno State government has warned youths in the habit of intimidating law-abiding citizens at social gatherings and public places to desist or face the wrath of the law. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum handed down the warning during a meeting with leadership of some youth groups believed to be involved in such acts that constitute public nuisance within the state and beyond. Here again is Mohammed Goni with the rest of the story.
Governor Zulum-led administration had, on assumption of office, warned that it will not condone political thuggery and indiscipline among youth in the state, and came up with a wide range of programs geared towards empowering youth and other less privileged in the state. The state government and the security operatives frown at the indiscipline and act of thuggery being perpetrated by some youth, hence the meeting with the leadership. Governor Babagana Umar admonished that security operatives have been directed to ensure arrest and prosecution of any youth found intimidating people at social places and gatherings, adding that any politician or individual found to be supportive of thuggerism will not be on the same page with him. The governor, who recalled continued support to the youth in the quest to empower them, said their shameful act that goes beyond the state is embarrassing the government and people of Borno, which is not acceptable. Member representing Maiduguri Metropolitan Council at the Federal House of Representatives, Abdul Kadir Rahis, State Commissioner of Police, Abdul Umar, State Director, DSS, Munir Mamman Mursala, Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Barrister Kakasha Ulan, and that of Youth and Sport, Sayin Nabuba, drew attention of the youth on rise of other citizens to live a peaceful life. They warned that henceforth, anyone found to be intimidating law-abiding citizens at public places will be prosecuted without fear or favor, and charged those present to spread the message. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
You're still on to Nationwide on the Nigerian Television Authority. It's now time to return to Ayodeji in Abuja for more reports. Good evening.
Thank you, Abubakar, in our Maiduguri Network Center. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has rearranged two British nationals, James Richard Nolan and Adam Quinn, before a federal high court in Abuja for their alleged complicity in the controversial process and industrial development gas processing contract, leading to the $9.6 billion arbitral award to a P&ID Limited by a United Kingdom commercial court. The defendants, both directors of Goidal Resources Limited, a designated non-financial institution, were docked on a 32-count charge bordering on money laundering after the charges were read. The third defendant, James Richard Nolan, pleaded not guilty to the charges. Adam Quinn, who is at large, was not available to make his plea, but prosecution counsel Ekele Ihanacho requested that his plea be recorded as guilty, which the judge granted. In view of Nolan's not guilty plea, Ihanacho asked the court for a trial date. However, defense counsel Michael Ajara applied for the court for the defendant to continue enjoying the bail granted to him by Justice Okun Abang, which the prosecution counsel did not oppose. Justice Okorowo adjourned the matter till December 13, 2021 for commencement of trial. In another development, the Federal High Court sitting in Jalingo has set aside its earlier judgments delivered in 2019, where it barred the then Deputy Governor of Taraba State, Sani Abubakar Danladi, from participating in all elections from 2019. The presiding judge, Justice Simon Amobeda, said the court has jurisdiction to reverse itself if there is a need for it. Adamu Haruna Adams has details.
Recall, in the build-up to the 2019 governorship election in Taraba State, specifically on the 6th day of March 2019, the Federal High Court sitting in Jalingo disqualified the then APC governorship candidate Sani Abubakar Aladi from participating in the 2019 governorship election and subsequent elections. The decision followed a suit filed by one Usman Udi and 3 others against Sani Aladi over discrepancy in the first defendant's date of birth. However, following application by the first defendant, Sani Aladi, the presiding judge, Justice Simon Amobida, maintains that the defendant applicant, Sani Aladi, has a backing affidavit to enable him use his documents and will be able to participate in any election.
Aggrieved by that decision, we came back to this court, which made those orders to have those orders set aside. And his lordship, in his wisdom, in the ordained judgment just delivered by him, set aside that judgment and the orders made therein, that he was wrongly disqualified.
It depends on the circumstances of each given case. Courts can set aside its earlier decision. And there must be conditions. There are factors that must be taken into consideration.
Efforts to hear from other parties to the suit prove abortive. In Jalingo, Adamu Haruna Adams, NTA News.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has described the COVID-19 pandemic as an eye-opener, saying despite infrastructural weaknesses, the nation has an experienced and robust public health system championed by some of the best personnel anywhere in the world. The Vice President said this when declaring open a 3-day international conference on health access and social economic development beyond COVID-19, which is the first multi-sectoral approach to solution finding. State House correspondent Jide Onifade has the details.
Before COVID-19, there was Ebola and other diseases like Lassa fever. The nation, as Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says, responded promptly and even prepared for the unseen by investing in developing health infrastructure. The nation can today boast of well-equipped laboratories and research centers with global recognition.
Our administration has established the Healthcare Sector Intervention Fund Facility, which has disbursed about $76.98 billion, that's about $185 million, to finance the acquisition and installation of critical medical care equipment, as well as the expansion of production lines in various pharmaceutical companies across the country. The CBN is also supporting a number of research and development initiatives in the health sector.
The Vice President speaks on some contributions and achievements of the country to finding solutions to the pandemic and what is being done moving forward.
It's important to say that our healthcare system, a healthcare system of our dreams, just as I've said, is ahead of us. We know what we want and what is possible. We have the men and women with the required expertise. What we need is more diligent and focused management. And only recently, the President established the Healthcare Reform Committee, which I have the privilege of chairing. That may well be at least one of the vehicles for ensuring that we're able to get some of our dreams come true.
Previously, it has been each profession or discipline to its own tent, and that is the first wall that my team and I have decided to demolish in terms of generating new knowledge.
Jide Onifade, NTA News.
A transformed agriculture research system will help achieve sustainable food security and income for all farmers and reduce the cost of foodstuff for consumers, whether in the rural or urban areas. This was the view of some agri stakeholders in reaction to the recent amendments and assent of the Agricultural Research Council Bill 2021 by President Muhammadu Buhari. Evelyn Bado Ekbo reports.
Agricultural research in Nigeria has over time provided solutions to farmers on the latest technologies or techniques needed for a farm, especially in terms of hybrid and resistant varieties of crops and livestock. The amendment of the Agri-Research Council Bill 2021, stakeholders say, will further enhance coordination of activities for maximum output.
It is through research that new and improved variety of farm inputs, be it crops or livestock, is being attained. And also it is through the research institution that we can control the climate change.
Most of those institutions have no boss, and they were just dormant, doing nothing. If only that bill will cause him to release funds to those institutes to go into research and bring out the products to the public, and the farmers will benefit from it and the economy will be boosted.
On federal government moves established through agri-training institutions, they say it's a step in the right direction. It is expected that this action will enhance economic diversification in which agriculture will play the lead role. In Uyo, Evelyn Badu-Ekpo, NTA News.
We are now joining our Benin Network Center for more on Nationwide, and Agatha is our guide. Over to you, Agatha.
And welcome to Jos. The University of Jos is adopting systematic and sustainable ways of addressing security challenges facing the institution. The acting Vice-Chancellor, Professor Gray Ejikeme, stated this while briefing newsmen on resumption of 2019-2020 academic activities of the university. Indian and Deabagang reports.
The recent violent conflict in parts of Plateau State that resulted in wanton destruction of lives and property also affected the university as academic activities were suspended. Acting Vice-Chancellor of the institution, Professor Gray Ejekeme, notes that the proactiveness of the management and the state government ensured the students and university community were protected. He says the management and Senate have also taken measures to ensure strategic places in and around the university are secured. To this effect, the Senate at its 7th special meeting approved the resumption of 2019-2020 academic session with second semester examination earlier suspended being written by students.
We had to adjust the exam timetable. We now had to revisit our earlier timetable. Lectures that would last 3 hours, we brought them to the morning papers. Those for 2 will follow immediately, but that all exams should end around 4 p.m., latest 4:30.
It is a sigh of relief for the students with the resumption of academic activities.
It feels really great to be back in school.
Happy to continue our exams from where we actually stopped.
Now I feel secure.
Meanwhile, the acting Vice-Chancellor also disclosed that the university is putting up more infrastructure to provide conducive atmosphere for teaching and learning and to ensure more students are accommodated within the university community. In Jos, Indian and Abuja, NTA News.
The Director General of the Industrial Training Fund, Joseph Ari, says the fund is committed to providing, promoting, and encouraging the acquisition of skills for manpower development. He stated this in Jos in a message to the celebration of ITF's 14th Library Week. Grace Akwe-Gotip reports.
The celebration of the Library Week dates back to 1958, when the American Library Association organized the first Library Week. ITF on its part organized the first Library Week in 2007 and has sustained it till date.
It is very important because you can learn, you can even acquire new skills through reading. It has encouraged me that whatever affairs we are doing in this life, we must inculcate the attitude of reading.
Director General of ITF represented says the fund attaches high premium to training as its cardinal mandate. As such, has equipped its library with various books covering diverse fields of human endeavors for staffs and members of the public.
Reading is not only for organizational growth, but also for individual benefit as it aids in developing the individual's thoughts, cognitive, mental stimulation, and brain exercising.
Something that we do on a regular basis, but the idea is to see how we can now make sure that our staff are always ready to read. We have an e-library that you can think of all the books that you can think of.
With the theme Library Matters, Building a Reading Culture, the event featured presentation of books by ITF staff and a drama presentation by students of the ITF school. In Jos, Grace Akwegotip, NTA News.
And that's our beat from Jos. With me, Felicia Daliop Samaila. It's back to you, Ayodeji, in Abuja.
Thanks, Felicia. In our Jos Network Center, we actually reestablished with our Benin Network Center in the course of the bulletin. Let's go for a break. This is Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned.
Youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President MUHAMMADU Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
The NOA, for example, has succeeded a great deal in sensitization during the pandemic, and we have found the community mobilization officers most effective in the sensitization and in the advocacy campaigns, creating awareness on the coronavirus pandemic. We have done this through the production of jingles, which were very widely distributed in different languages, in English, in Hausa, in Yoruba, in Igbo, in Tiv, in Igala, in Kanuri, in Fulfulde, in Ijo, in Isoko, in Bini, in top of any other language you can think of. We had translated sensitization messages.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Two entertaining sides will be looking to get the results when they meet at Ellen Road. Who will come out on top? This Saturday, it's Leeds United versus Wolverhampton Wanderers on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA, Silverbird Television and Sporty.com from 2:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral.
Thanks for staying with us. The recent decision by the Senate to amend the Electoral Act to make mandatory for political parties to conduct direct primaries has been described as a welcome development. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria raised this while discussing direct and indirect primaries. Ekemini Williams reports that the guests expressed concern over the operationalization of the direct primaries.
They approved amendments of Section 87 of the Electoral Act to make it mandatory for political parties to adopt direct primaries to choose their candidates for elected positions. This has generated controversies with commentators divided on the consequences of this decision to the electoral process. It was not any different on the program, with the guests offering divergent views, especially as they observed that some of the major political parties had explored both systems in the past, with mixed results.
That regardless of the mode that you apply, it is still susceptible to manipulation by political actors. But does this proposed amendment, will it enhance the internal democracy of political parties? Yes, it will, if it is strictly applied.
If Party A decides that it's going to adopt either direct or indirect primaries, what we should be concerned with, all members in that political parties should be involved in the process, either by delegate arrangement, or either by representative arrangement, or either by wholesome arrangement. But in all, it must be seen to be democratic and almost convey convey some level of acceptance among the people.
While Senator Kabir Gaya was of the view that direct primaries is more cost-effective and less corruptible, some other guests thought otherwise, noting that INEC will require a substantial increase in its budgetary allocation if it is to oversee the primaries as statutorily required.
When you are doing direct primary, it's only done at ward level. And we have over 8,000 locations, which means these people at 8,000 locations are not bringing them up to headquarters of the state or to national headquarters. They will be there, they are within their community, they are within their areas.
But INEC does not have, it probably has about that 8,000 odd permanent senior staff.
Yeah.
So it's not everybody that's deployable to the field. That's not everybody. So yes, you probably have to now have budgetary allocation for that purpose.
Yeah.
So that is increasing the costs to INEC. I don't know, it probably will not be good to send only one person.
Yeah.
It's more easy, more susceptible to manipulation. You send only one staff. So it has to recruit other people.
Yeah.
So that's additional costs to INEC.
There was, however, a consensus that attention should be paid to ensuring that political parties have a comprehensive register of members. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
And still on political party affairs, the All Progressives Congress has registered more than 1.2 million members in Zamfara State between August and October 2021. Chairman of the All Progressives Congress Membership Registration and Revalidation Committee in the state, Ibrahim Aliyu Masari, made this known while presenting the new party register to Governor Bello Muhammad at the Government House in Gusau. Jamilu Ibrahim has more.
The defection of Zamfara State Governor Bello Muhammad to the All Progressives Congress, along with his teaming political associates and supporters in June this year, informed the decision of the party National Secretariat to embark on a new membership registration and revalidation exercise. A seven-man committee saddled with the responsibility of conducting the exercise, led by Ibrahim Masari, presented to the governor a comprehensive register of more than 1.2 million members registered by the party in the state.
Alhamdulillah, it was perfect. I'm appealing to all APC members in Zamfara State to come and rally behind the executive governor, who is the leader of APC in Zamfara, so that to make progress in Zamfara State.
Zamfara State Governor Bello Muhammad, who applauded the committee for the good work, said the membership registration and validation is a continuous exercise as he relentlessly reaches out to the aggrieved party members in the state.
I am consulting each and every one of them, and I will continue so that we may have a peaceful congresses in all the world we have understood in general.
The committee is expected to submit its report to the APC National Secretariat, which will pave way for the conduct of the pending congresses of the party in Zamfara State soonest. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
The erstwhile national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Prince Uche Secondus, says he's not under pressure to withdraw his case against the party from the court. Timothy Yusuf has details.
Prince Uche Secondus, through his media advisor Ike Abonyi, explained that he's not in court against the party, but was dragged to court instead by a person allegedly bent on hijacking the soul of the party. The focus, according to Prince Secondus, is for justice to prevail, a process he's determined to pursue to save the party from people he referred to as hirelings out to destroy and derail the focus of the party. He maintains that his seeking justice is as enshrined in the PDP constitution, which is supreme, and states clearly how a national chairman and any national officer can be sanctioned. Meanwhile, the national leadership, zonal and state executives of Iowa PDP support group believes that the ongoing negotiations among PDP stakeholders, aspirants and PDP supporters on the best choices for the party's forthcoming elective national convention is a welcome development. Leader of the group lauds the emergence of former President of the Senate, Dr. Yochi Ayu, as the consensus national chairmanship candidate of the PDP for the North.
It is also worthy to note that the position of National Secretary, which is zone to south, is very important. Therefore, the choice of Senator Samuel Emmanuel Anyanwu from southeast by a large number of the critical stakeholders from the south is indeed a welcome development.
This is just a position for the PDP Nigeria, not just southeast.
I'm only an instrument to be used by the Southeast.
The group promised to continue to mobilize members to fully participate in the forthcoming convention and 2023 election to give the PDP the taste of victory that they are striving for. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has issued a stern warning to bandits, saying that their clock of ultimate destruction is ticking as they will no longer have a place to hide. Reacting to the killing of more than 30 people in Goronyo, Sokoto State by suspected bandits, President Buhari said the days of the bandits are indeed numbered, as capabilities of the nation's armed forces are being boosted by the acquisition and deployment of advanced equipment. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, the president says the bandits are living in a fool's paradise of invincibility, but the reality will soon dawn on them harder than ever before. Appealing to Nigerians not to despair, President Buhari says the cowardly attacks on innocent people by the bandits show a rearguard action of criminals under pressure, but they will have no place to hide as the gallant security forces will not relent in the current offensive to defeat these callous enemies of humanity. In a bid to tame the tides of crises in Nigeria, strategic communication and corporate governance are resonating as critical tools in containing rising tension and shaping the mindset of Nigerians towards a politically stable environment. This dominated a high-level engagement by the National Institute for Security Studies and key partners on crisis management and sustainable development. Abubakar Usman Okwanga has details.
Imaging Nigeria's future towards a stable security architecture is eliciting answers on the best way to go, with experts' opinion on the front burner.
For security to be impactful, to be felt, what you suggest to the security managers must be implemented. Otherwise, there will be insecurity.
And in total respect into the possibility of overcoming the security challenge that is overwhelming parts of the country, strategic communication in governance is shaping a new path.
Nigeria is destined to lead our race in the world, not just in Africa, in the world. So Nigerians therefore must recognize that responsibility and work towards achieving it.
Director General Nigerian Television Authority Yakubu Ibn Muhammad represented and other discussants urged their positions on effective media as panacea for peace and national integration.
Media practitioners are already trained. They are trained to be agenda setters. They are trained to know the target audience. They are trained to know the information that is important for you, that is not important for you at a particular time.
Religious leaders and other academic scholars say Nigerians must begin to act right to avoid breakdown of law and order and the surge of casualties in the face of unrest. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Okwanga, NTA News.
Nigerian youth have been advised to remain resolute in their quest for unity and peace in the country. The Director General, Nigerian Television Authority, Malam Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, gave the advice in his message at the 2021 National Youth Peace Summit in Osogbo. Joshua Ogunjide reports.
From the north, south, east and west, Nigerian youths in their hundreds gathered in Osogbo for this year's edition of the National Youth Peace Summit, the fourth in the series, with the theme Paving the Way for a Non-Violent Nigeria. The summit and living the consciousness of the youth towards greater responsibilities of nation building and as leaders in their rights.
We want permanent free country. And I believe through the instrumentality of this association, this organization, we will be expecting handshake across Nigeria. Until peace as one of the important tools to stabilize our nation and this critical period.
The Director General, NTA, Malam Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, encouraged the Nigerian youth in general to take full advantage of the Not Too Young to Run bill already signed into law.
As youth are challenging to shore up forms of barriers and focus on virtues that will endear you to be part of not just leaders of today, but the entire masses. If you want the world to be great, if you want peace in the world, let us create peace in our youth.
The week-long summit will end on Friday. Joshua Ogre, NTA News.
The Independent Investigation Panel on allegations of human rights violations by the defunct SARS sitting at the National Human Rights Commission in Abuja has resumed sitting with complainants seeking relief for extrajudicial killings and various acts of torture, inhuman and degrading treatments meted out on victims. Judiciary correspondent Vera Chinwoba reports that 8 cases were heard by the panel.
Last in March this year had concluded 55 complaints, while 75 are at different stages of progress. The 11-member panel, chaired by Justice Suleiman Galadima, listened to final written and brief oral addresses by parties in 8 petitions, which were adjourned for the panel's report. In the case of alleged killing of Angela Igwetu, counsel for the commission, Chino Obiago, SAN, told the panel that Inspector Benjamin Peters, one of the respondents in the alleged murder of Angela Igwetu, is already being prosecuted by the police, and that has not been controverted. Respondent counsel Fidelis Ogobe, however, informed the panel that the matter for which a 250,000 naira compensation is being sought by the complainant is currently pending before the FCT High Court. Complainant counsel Wadundi Oko quickly reminded Ogobe that the panel is human rights sitting and not criminal proceedings on account of his submission. The case of late Daniel Agoro was adjourned due to absence of both complainant and the counsel, while police counsel was asked to file response in the case of late Ifeoma Abugu, a victim of alleged extrajudicial killing. In Abuja, Vera Chinwoba, NTA News.
And next is sports, and Olumide Eguntola is our guide.
Starting with the ongoing National Youth Games in Ilorin, Taye Ayenuru of Team Delta and Oladapo Awonusi have emerged the fastest female and male at the 6th edition of the Games. Kehinde Lamide reports that Taye finished 100 meters girls final at a time of 12.19 seconds, while Oladapo returned at a time of 11.23 seconds to win the 100 meters boys final.
What we have here, we are good to go in any competition.
Meanwhile, the 200 meters finals are expected to hold during the closing ceremony on Tuesday. In volleyball, Team Taraba emerged winner of the 6th edition of the National Youth Games Volleyball Boys. The team defeated Team Oyo via tie break to emerge champion. In another news, ahead of the ICC Men's T20 Cricket World Cup qualifiers later in the year in Rwanda, the Nigeria cricket team will commence a bilateral series against the Sierra Leone team Tuesday. 6 test matches will be played between both countries at the University of Lagos Cricket Oval to keep the players in top shape for the forthcoming T20 Africa World Cup qualifiers.
You will see us having more bilateral series between nations, especially in West Africa and Africa as a whole.
In table tennis, Nigeria will host 14 West African countries to the 2nd edition of the ITTF African Western Region Challenge, scheduled for November. Meanwhile, Africa's #1 and 16th best player in the world, Nigeria's Aruna Quadri, have emphasized combination of sports and education as pivotal to success in life. During an interaction, the table tennis star and Oyo State government restated their commitment towards development of sports, especially table tennis, while taking the youth off the streets. In football, the Super Falcons of Nigeria will Wednesday take on their counterpart from Ghana in the first leg of the African Women Championship qualifiers at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Lagos, to make it to the 12th African Championship in Morocco in 2022.
It should be a great match, but I'm really confident with our team.
From the foreign scene, the UEFA Champions League Group Stage Match Day 3 takes center stage on Tuesday and Wednesday night. In Tuesday fixtures, Peking Stars welcome Sporting FC, PSG against Leipzig, while Atletico Madrid takes on Liverpool, amongst other matches. For Wednesday, Benfica takes on Bayern Munich, while Chelsea takes on Malmo FC, amongst other matches. Sports Update, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
And that's nationwide this Tuesday. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. Please remember to connect with the NTA and stand against rape and rapists to be a star on behalf of the entire production crew. Good evening.